Hello friends, welcome back to the ASP.NET video tutorial series. This series is published on Infologs YouTube channel and thank you for watching it. In today's video tutorial, we are going to see how we can create and customize our own middleware. In our previous video tutorial, we have seen how the middleware class works, how do we process the request. We have also seen the processing sequences of request into the middleware pipeline. So now in this video tutorial, we are going to create our own custom middleware. So this is Abhishek Bedre. Let's get started with the article published on infologs.in. So here I have already loaded the Infologs channel. So here you can see the ASP.NET Core tutorial series that we have following and creating a new topic discussions on it. So on the infologs.in website, we have the collections of ASP.NET Core tutorials on each topic. So today we are going to see the number 12 article, that is how to create custom middleware in ASP.NET Core. So as soon as click over here, the new page is loaded over here. So here you can see that the Visual Studio template provides a default middleware class. So now we are going to use the same project that we have used in our previous video tutorials. So in this example, let's create an middleware for the logging process. Okay, for the logging process that we are going to see a separate video on this, but I'll create a simple console message via middleware process. So each and every request comes, so there will be a console message on our in our invocation method, right? So let's flip back to the Visual Studio and try to add the middleware classes. So here I have already loaded the same project that we are using for this video series. Okay, and if you want to download the same project according to the video, so you can go ahead and download it from the infologs.in website or from github.com/infologs. So now we have given the general notification to everyone. So let's get start with the Visual Studio, and first of all open up your startup.cs file. On the startup.cs file, here you can see in our previous video tutorials we have created some middleware like this. Okay, we have created a use middleware. We have also created our own run default methods. Now what we are going to do here, we are going to create our own middleware. For that, let's create a class. Okay, for class, what I'll do, so I have a logger folder. I'll add a middleware class just put it in the root directory so it will get more clear. So new item, middleware class. So I'll use it my middleware class. So here you'll see the default code, that is my middleware. This is as we have seen in our previous video tutorial. Whenever you wanted to use the app.use method, so in that case we have two parameters. The first one is the current context and second is the next reference to the next middleware. Okay, so as soon as the use middleware executed successfully, it will ask .NET Core framework to go ahead and process the next middleware, right? So here you will see the default delegate to the next process, not the next middleware, and that is loaded into the constructor of the class, and we have a built-in method called Invoke. okay, which takes a parameter of HTTP current context, right? So here you'll see the next of current HTTP request, that the same request is coming, which is passed to the next middleware, right? For more information, I'll again go back and load this core middleware article where we have seen this process. Okay, so now where we stand here, okay, and all this image is bundled in this section, request pipeline section. Okay, so as soon as the request comes, let's say we have the whatever the middleware this is the first middleware that we are configuring in our startup.configure method. Okay, so as soon as the request comes, the delegate, we got the next reference which is coming by default from the .NET framework. Okay, so that get initializes, and in the invoke method also executed, and here your code. Okay, as soon as our code executed, the next delegate will executed and passes the current HTTP context to the next middleware. Okay, and this is the extension method. Okay, so here this is a new concept for us. So just understand, this is the custom method, or we can say the extension method of the application builder. Okay, application builder class. Okay, so use my middleware method is not available in the application builder class, but by declaring all this stuff, we are saying application builder class that this is the extra method we wanted to include in this class. Okay, so whenever we create an instance of application builder, so we wanted to use this method as an application builder method. Okay, so what we are going to saying to application builder class, hey, this is the use my middleware class, sorry, method, which takes an argument as application builder, and then this is the general structure that how user is going to use. Okay, use middleware, and what is the middleware? This is the my middleware class. Okay, so this is the default code available whenever you add the middleware class template. If you don't add the middleware class template, so basic simple class will be loaded. So everything the other thing that you have to write it your own, right? Okay, so coming back to the our article, so we have already added this, so we got this code. As you can see, the invoke method is not asynchronous. Okay, so the next point is, so if you see here, the request is not processed, sorry, not async. So why do we need to make it async? Okay, so let's assume that you have hosted a ASP.NET Core application on server. Okay, and there you have your own custom middleware with the current method, whatever the selected is. So that is not async. Okay, if the method is not async, that means it's a synchronous method, right? So let's assume that you have 100 requests at the same time. What will happen? I know you got the answer, right? So all the requests will process one by one. Okay, so the experience for the end user will be very laggy. Okay, so it will take much time if your custom middleware is processing some IO operations on the disks, or it takes the checking into your database. So it will, the process of the response for the each request will get slower. So in that case, this affects the performance. So whenever you try to include your own middleware into the request process pipeline, so make sure it should be async, right? So at the same time, the processing will get started for the each request, right? Okay, so for the making this application async, what you have to do is just simple, just go ahead and type async. Okay, but there is a very big concept behind it that we are going to see in our upcoming video tutorials. Okay, I'll separately post two videos on the async and await. Sorry. Okay, so in that video tutorial we will see how the async and await works in the desktop application as well as in the web application, right? Okay, so coming to the article, if you see over here, so how do we create it as a basic asynchronous method? So here I have already just put it the await keyword, so it will wait for the here and try to process the next request at the same time, right? Okay, so now let's put our some code over here. So currently I'll just put my console dot write line. So this message is coming from my middleware. Okay, okay, now this is completed. Now let's go back to our startup.cs class and tell them that I want to use app.use my middleware. Okay, right? So add custom middleware, that is simple, this one. Okay, and one more thing that we are going to do is just comment out this, and we'll also register a run middleware which takes an async parameter of current context and a block of code for await http context dot response dot body dot write async, and then system dot sorry, so what was that? Yeah, encoding dot ASCII dot get bytes of the string. This is the final middleware for the processing. Okay, so now we got everything. We have created our own middleware. We have added some console message in that, so whenever we run this application, it should gives the message into our output window. This is the middleware which is getting executed, or and the response would be this is the final middleware in our http page. So let's execute it. IS Express, yeah. Okay, so it's processing. So come on. Okay, build succeed. Just launching the application into the Chrome. Yep. So we should get the message that we have written in the run middleware. We got the message. This is the final middleware for processing. Now let's go back to the build output window under the project. So we got this message. This is coming from the middleware. Okay, so I'll just clear it and make one more request. So we got the message. This is coming from the middleware. Right now, tell me one thing, why we are getting two messages for the single request. Okay, so here let's say I am making a simple request. I'll just put enter over here and I'm getting this message. This message is coming from middleware. Okay, so I hope you should get the answer of it as soon as I have already shown you the request processing pipeline. Okay, so HTTP request is coming, again .NET CLR, then Kestrel, if configured, then again main method, then configure method, and then our middleware. Now as soon as the request comes to the middleware, what we have done, so we have just log in that information over here, right? So hey, the invoke method is executed, right? Okay, and then we are saying just go ahead and process the next middleware. So next middleware is run middleware, so it will produces the response and attach it to the response context. Okay, now again it comes back to the use middleware section, and again we are saying hey, we are invoking, and again we are showing this message. Okay, so for the clarification, let's do some modification in this message. So here I'll update or concate the HTTP context dot response dot body dot timeout concludes. So the read. So what it returns? It returns the integer whenever it is body dot. Okay, so what we'll do, just put the length. Okay, GTH. Okay, let's see what happens. So again I'm running this application. So single request processed. Oh, we got the exception. What is the exception? An unhandled exception occurred while processing the request. Specified method is not allowed. Oops. Let's consider this as a method. Okay, do one thing. So byte data equals HTTP context dot response dot body dot get read async. So we are reading it and storing that information into the byte. And as this is the task, why this returns the task of integer. No, we don't want it to return it integer. So just wait for a second. Read number of bytes it read. Okay, so we will read byte. Okay, wait 1 second. Okay, so sets the position. So just wait for a second. Okay, so here we'll try to add something into the response body. Okay, so http context dot response dot body dot write it as async encoding dot ASCII dot get bytes of a string from my middleware. Yes, this is we are using the write async method. Here we have to add a wait keyword. Okay, so over here let's execute it. So here you'll see the message from middleware gets added first into the as soon as the request comes to the this middleware, the from middleware message will add it to the body into the response section, and then next run middleware will get executed, and then again it will append this message into the middleware, and then this produces this much output. Okay, now here I'll put a breakpoint and I'll request it again. So here again the request came and then F10, sorry. Okay, and then just go into the okay, this is just a second, coding dimension, and then okay, so here again what we'll do, just go to the next step. It will print the message and again it will process. Okay, as soon as our next run executed, it will again come back to the my middleware, and we have already included the my from middleware into the http context. Okay, so again it will execute and again the message will get print. So here we can see the two messages over here per request, and it will return back to the as a response. So here you'll see the from middleware, this is the final middleware for the processing. Okay, this is how we can include the request. We can try to process the response as well as request. We can collect the information for each from each middleware, as we got the HTTP context. So from the context we can read what are the session IDs and all whatever the information you wanted. It can be available from the HTTP context for each middleware configured in the startup.cs. Okay, this is how the custom middleware is working, right? So if you have any queries, so please put it down to the videos as a comment. We'll try to provide you the answers, the solutions as soon as possible. Okay, so see you in the next video tutorial. On the next video tutorial we are going to see how we can put the default file in ASP.NET Core project. Okay, as soon as you run the project, I wanted my abc.html or abc. Whatever the file it is, so that should be as a default file. Okay, so how do we configure that in ASP.NET Core, we'll show in our next video tutorial. Till then, thank you for watching. Keep subscribe and do not stop learning. Okay, and this is our slogan, never stop learning. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.